Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video I'm going to talk about the markdown. What is a markdown? This is my favorite feature in the Python Jupyter notebook. This is where I can type certain text that is not part of the code. This is where I can write certain notes for you to digest, understand the code, give details, and notes that I will talk to you through it. Basically, there are here in the interface, you can add, for example, over here, I want to add a cell. Let's start with inserting a cell. You can head up and insert a cell above. So here I inserted a cell above. All right. You can also go in here and insert a cell below. So here's another cell below. Okay. So in this cell, for example, I would like to type in the importing libraries. So I want this cell to be not a code, I want it to be a note. There are two ways to do it. That is not a code. I can start with a hashtag and I say importing library. First we import libraries. So importing necessary libraries. Yeah, good. And that's it. Even if you hit the shift enter, nothing happens. So you can see that it is, wow, it is here importing libraries, necessary libraries. Or you could actually transform it into this cell type, transform it to markdown. As you can see now, it has a different even color, and shift enter and look how it looks like. Totally, completely outside the box kind of mentality, I would say. So it doesn't even have a line number for the code. So this is why I like it, because it doesn't interfere with the codes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 lines here, and so on. I think it's quite interesting here. Here we go, and this is how you import, print, and this is how many times you're running, yeah, the code, and so on. So now let's start here with another way to get this markdown type. So over here, the markdown type, also you can get it by holding down the escape button on your keyboard. As you can see here, this is the escape button on standard keyboard, and holding down the escape button and hitting the M for mark down. So escape plus M button to switch to markdown cell. So you can just hold down the escape key and the M, and now here we go. We can start with markdown. So now let's talk about the number of hashtags. The first hashtag is giving you heading 1. As in HTML, for example, if you are familiar with the HTML language, like a markup language, here is markdown. This first hashtag, only one hashtag will give you the biggest font. If you try to use 2 hashtags, then it will be a smaller font. If you get the 3 hashtags, it will be even smaller font. So let's start here with 1 hashtag, which is importing libraries, and then let's add insert here below here, and also escape button and M, and let's type in, guys, importing necessary libraries using or practicing with the print. I'm going to put it just in a small print function so that you get adjusted to the fact that print function is actually small letter, not capital. So using the print function, and then markdown. So we learned now today the markdown. This is also very important. All right, with the markdown you can also add bullets with the stars. It's easy to implement. Now another way also to add certain notes here, for example, I could add a note. I could say that I usually add my notes, guys, at the very top, so I can add a hashtag. Once you add a hashtag, this means, or signals to the computer, to the system, that don't read this as part of the code. So let's say define a variable I as an integer, or assign an integer value. Sorry, this is more precise. Assign an integer value to variable I. Over here, you can also here type the notes, whatever notes you would like at the same line. Also, once you add the hashtag, you can say assign a float value to variable f, and let's call the I and see if it works fine. Yeah, it works fine. Let's call the f and see if it works fine. Yes, it works really fine. And over here, does it work fine? Yes, nothing happened. So this is also another way to annotate or adding comments, yeah, within your code. All right, you're gonna find me writing a lot of these comments and segmenting, organizing my notebooks nicely with the markdown. And I would like you to use the same technique, really. Practice it. It's really good. All right, guys, let's take a look at the type. If you want to return the type, what is the type? So I'm going to just add here, let's insert here one more cell. I think there's a shortcut also for inserting cells, but for now, let's just focus on what we want to do. So I'm going to return the type of I. So I want to return the type of I. I want the computer to tell me what type is I. Here it's int, that stands for integer. And over here, if you add another cell below, you can type of f here, and then you get the float, so it has decimals. All right, so this is another function called type, and in the brackets, as you can see, all the functions is like Excel. All the functions, here's the name of the function, and then you will have brackets, and inside the brackets we add the argument. Let me just not be going very fast and explain really clearly what we're doing here. So print is a function, and the function, by structure, by nature, by design, there is the name of the function. And as you can see, the functions have not capital letters. It doesn't start with capital letters. This is first thing that you want to note now. And then all the functions will actually have, most of them will have, in fact, these brackets. And inside the brackets, you feed it something. You feed it an argument. You feed it something. So here, over here, a print takes a string. And then also print could take a string and integer. You see, so the arguments that print can take is a string, as you can see here, and it can take also an integer. Here, 5 is an integer, not a string, but then returns it as a string, of course. And over here, print could take a string. A string is a text. A string is the data type. The data type in a programming language, a string is the data type of text. So the text that you type has the data type string. So when I say string, it means it's a text. So as you can see here, the 5 here is a string because I typed it. 5 here is an integer. It's even in green color. Now, integer is a number that doesn't have decimal. Float is a number that does have decimal. So I hope now you are more clear on what we are doing. All right, again, type is a function. Type is a function, and this function takes the argument in between brackets, enclosed in between brackets, and the argument here is a variable I that assigned to a certain integer. And here is assigned to a float. This is why its type is float. Get rid of the float and see what happens. Here, it's an integer, you see? So it's smart enough to see if it was assigned to a float or it is assigned to an integer, and it automatically updates itself. All right, what is the type of this variable f? What if you want to type here 5.3? What is the type of 5.3? It's a float. What is the type of 5? It's an integer. Do you see that? So please try experimenting and see how things going. Okay, so also print function takes it takes a string which is a text, and also takes a string, and also here takes these placeholders, containers that refers, or we call it points back, pointer. It's called like a pointer. It points back to certain variables. So it points back to certain variables. All right, lovely people. I hope that this is clear introduction to Python for integers and floats. Now, there are data types. So now data types, you're good at it, right? This data type is a string. It's in red. It's enclosed in double quotes or in single quote. This data type is an integer. This data type is a float. How about other data types? Other data types like, here's the print function. And over here, how about we add actually a cell, insert a cell, and over here escape an M, and over here we say data types in Python. So the first data type here is an integer. The second data type that we've learned together is a float. And now, how about a third data type? I'm gonna get rid of that with the scissor, and over here I can just add different cells. Do you see that plus sign for different cells? And this is to eliminate certain cells, and this is to copy selected cells. So I can copy this, and this is to paste it. So I can copy and paste. It didn't work because I needed to copy first and then I needed to paste. You see? So I need to copy first and then paste. Okay, in any case, let's cut it now. Yeah, so use these cut, copy, paste, please. And this is to go up and down, and this is to run, and this is just to interrupt the kernel. Okay, this is to restart the kernel. All right, it's okay. This is what we need to know really mostly here. So we explored the insert, we explored here the cell. So you can run all cells when you start, and not now, we're going to talk about it in due course. You learned also more about this, and I'm going to talk about this later. It's not very important for now. Let's just focus on the simple stuff for now. Let's talk about the Boolean. This is not Boolean, is it? Is it a string or is it a text? What is it? So in fact, what is a Boolean? A Boolean variable has one of two possible values of the domain. Usually it's either true or false. And in analytics and in data statistics and analytics, usually true refers to the letter one, to the number one. So we assign one to incidents that we think it's a true, refers to true, and 0 to refers to false. This is like a standard. You can do otherwise. If you do otherwise, you have to shout out loud and tell everyone that you've done otherwise so that they don't get messed up, because everyone is used to this standard. So please follow the standards. All right, B is equal to true. So its name true is not defined. But when we put it as a true here, then a true is a text. But when a true is a capital letter, then a true is in green. So it is Boolean. Let me show you what I'm trying to tell you here. B is, or X is whatever variable. Here, X, B, Y. When X is equal to a certain here, a true, this means that a true is a string. Let's return X. X is true, yeah. And what type is X? Let me show you. What type is X? It's a string, str. Okay, what if X is equal to true and as you can see, T is in capital and T is not enclosed in quotes. Usually we enclose strings in quotes. Now you already understood that. So much to learn, right? But I'm repeating again and again. So print takes a string, usually a string argument. String arguments always enclosed in quotes, double quotes or single quotes. So true here is enclosed in quotes. What does that mean? It means it is here. It is a text, and even when you return it as a true, even if it's capital, because it's enclosed in strings, it is a string. As you can see here, it's a string. But when you assign true without strings to x, and then you want to return x, you want to return the value of x, then this is a true. And now let's put it as y, honey. Let's do y. Let's do y. You know why? Because let's do y. You know why? Because I'm gonna want you to type here y so that you see the difference. And here y is Boolean. So x and y here are assigned to a value true, but x is assigned to true as a string. Why is it as a string? Because I enclosed it in quotes. When I enclose it in quotes, the type of x will be string. But Boolean value or a Boolean data type. A Boolean data type, we usually use it for what we call it dummy variables. What are dummy variables? We're going to talk about it on Friday. So a Boolean variable here is taking the value of either 1 or either 0. So a Boolean value of a true here assigned to y is written without the quotes free. Good. So we now know string data type, a string data type, an integer data type, a float data type, and a Boolean data type. Congratulations. And Boolean data type is very much needed when, for example, we say, did you attend the class or not? So 1, you attended, 0, you didn't. 1, you attended, 0, you didn't. That's it, and so on. All right, list. What is a list? It's a list of numbers like integers or floats, as well as list of strings. So it's a list of objects. It's a list of objects. The objects in the list can take on different data types. It can take on an integer data type, a float data type, a string data type, and usually date is also some dates are usually assigned to an object data type with no data type. Then you can convert it to a certain data type. So let's talk about advanced Python variables. So let's add a markdown here with escape M button, or you just go to cell and cell type markdown, and then add a hashtag for heading 1 and just type in advanced data types. Did I tell you that whenever you hit the shift enter multiple times, you can also add cells automatically? Yeah. Okay. There's no shortcut for that. I probably in the previous video I told you, oh, I forgot what shortcut do we use, because I do it just spontaneously. I just do it so naturally that I kind of like I don't feel it. I just do it naturally. All right. In any case, these are the data types here: integer, float, string, Boolean, advanced data type. We're gonna start with a list. So here I'm gonna have to let's put list of numbers like integers, blah blah blah, and list of objects. Objects is very important now. So hashtag, and just copy that so that you can add here a certain note, and press the enter key so that we can assign the numbers 1, 2, 3 to a certain list. Let's see. So here we have I, for example, is a list, or L. L is a list, and it is enclosed in, as you can see, in square brackets here. And then I have 1, 2, and 3. And now I want to return I. So I have an error. Name I is not defined. What is going on here? I have here I, and here is L. Do you see the difference between I and L? So this is an L. Do you see an L? And this is an I. I did not define a capital I. I need an L. So I'm going to just type L and everything is all right. So please be careful. Sometimes with my notes, you probably won't be able to see easily if it's an I or an L. This is an L. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Before I get into printing that, I want to see, is it ordered or not ordered? So let's call it now L, capital. So L capital is equal to a list also. And let's have for 6, 123. No, not like that. Actually, 123, and then 3, and then 12, for example. Let's see. And then let's return the L. It will also give us the number. So it shouldn't be in order. It's just a list. It's just a list of numbers. Okay, let's see. Would you like to also define L being, for example, 135, and then true, or maybe the Jack, and Jack is 160. He's 70. Maybe 82.4 or 0.5 centimeters height. Yeah, and let's see, L. Let's return L. So here we call here we have 135. Jack is a string, 135 is an integer, and 182.5 is a string. Okay, awesome. So a list can actually in-house integers or take integers, floats, and the strings as arguments. Very good. As you can see, multiple values. So over here, this is not advanced. It's only one value to one variable. Yeah, one value to one variable. Over here, we have multiple values and multiple value types. You see, to one data type, which is a list. Now let's talk about the index of value 3. The index of value here, value 3, the index of value 3 is 1. The index of value 4, here, 3, 4, 7, 6 for this one. 3, 4, 7, 6. 3 is the first one, the first entry, so it takes index 1. And 4 is index 2, and 7 is index 3. For example, here, 135 is index 1. Jack is index 2, and 185 is index 3. What does that mean? Can I return certain values, for example, that belongs to I? For example, L here. L oh no. Can I do something like that? Yeah. But look. Oh, it is 0, 1, 2. I made a mistake here. Wait a minute. This is 0, 1. Wait a minute. It is 0, 1, 2. Aha. Here is 1 is Jack, and here is 0. Oh, whoa. Something needs to be fixed here. This is 0. This is 1. And this is 2. And this is a 3 indeed. So please make sure that we always start with 0. So L0 is 135, and L1, I'm going to type this again and again. L1 is Jack, and L3. Oh, can we return more than one index together? For example, L1 and 2. Can I return L1 and 2 together like that? Oh, list indices must be integers or slices, not tuples. Oh. So what should I do? Shall I just put them maybe in brackets like that? Maybe, I'm not sure. Let's check. This is what it means? Oh, no. But in fact, you might find it interesting that over here. Let me just show you what I'm trying to show you. Okay, no, not now. The other way around. Is it possible, for example? Oh, it's another error. List object is not callable. So please make sure that you have here L. Can I call it like that? Oh, wow, I could. Do you see, guys, what I'm trying to tell you? So over here, I have, what if I don't have this? Wait a minute, I have a problem. What if I have it like this? I will only have Jack. Okay, so I need the comma. So here we go. Wow, I still have a problem. So if we have them both in the same line, now we are good to go, isn't it? So I would like you to inspire wake up your curiosity and start looking up. Oh, what will happen if I do this and that? And please do not ask me questions like, oh, I put this in between the brackets and it didn't work. It's by design. It won't work. Yeah. This is how they designed the language. But I just wanted to let you know here is that it is very important. Like little things are important here. If you want to return these in brackets, as you can see, they returned in brackets, but you don't need to have brackets in there. Just put L0, comma L1, and that's it. They are all returned and in brackets. Over here, they are returned in square brackets. Yeah. Here they are just returned in brackets. They're in square brackets because they are just mimicking this. So over here, no brackets whatsoever, yeah, as a singular, but over here in brackets. Anyway, that is fun to show you. All right. Now there is another data type that I would like to introduce to you, which is the dictionary. The dictionary is an unordered collection of items defined by enclosing a comma-separated list. It's like it's a list, a comma-separated list. So it's a list of items, and I will give them also an index in curly braces. We need curly braces for it, and for each, as you can see here, let me show you here in zooming in. So we have the curly brackets for opening and closing curly brackets. Then we have what is called the key and then the value. The key is like a label. The key here is Anna or Ansan. Ansan here has the value 1, Nora has the value 2, Kofi has the value 3. And this is how the value that the returning here. An is 1, Nora is 2, and Kofi is 3. And there is also, very importantly, the colons. The colons is very important in Python. So D usually is a dictionary. D equals this dict. And over here, you can also construct a dictionary with the built-in dict function. So here you can either use the curly brackets, as you can see. Curly brackets indicates that it's a dictionary, or you can use the dict. The dict is the dictionary built-in function. So you can use dict, and because it's a function, we always use brackets for a function. And inside these brackets, we have the list, because a dictionary is nothing but a list. As you can see here, a dictionary is a list. Honestly speaking, you won't find most programmers typing a dictionary or creating a dictionary this way. You'll find them most likely using it with the dict built-in function. So let's use the dictionary here, the dict built-in function that in-houses whatever arguments in between brackets like any other Python function. And over here is the list, the square brackets. So square brackets is for list, while curly brackets is for dictionary. This is one of the things I might ask you in the quiz. So dictionary takes the curly brackets, while the list takes the square brackets. So why do we have square brackets here again in the dictionary? Because the dictionary in-houses, it's actually a collection of it's an unordered collection of items. These items could be lists, so defined by enclosing a comma-separated list of key values, pairs, key value pairs in curly brackets, where a colon separates each key from its associated value. So assessing dictionary value, we have here print. How do you print? Accessing. So we have a print here. We print D and the value here, Nora. Okay. Exactly like how we did L0. So let's define a dictionary here with dict. Yeah? And then let's do it this way. As programming language, we opened, we closed the brackets. Please make sure that it's a pair. Every bracket, either being square bracket or just this bracket or curly bracket, whatever bracket you have, whatever bracket you have, you need an opening bracket and a closing bracket. Now see what happens here. You have an indentation. Do we need it? Well, that's true. We do need it. If we don't have the indentation, we get into trouble. So we need here to define, for example, Ansan has key A, yeah, and then we have comma, maybe not a comma, maybe a semicolon. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? A comma or semicolon? Or maybe nothing? Oh no, maybe nothing is totally ludicrous. You need something which is just a single comma. So just a single comma. Over here, you need commas. You don't need a semicolon, a colon. Here you need the colon. Do you see the difference? So did I add a colon here? Yes, I added a colon. So I'm gonna get into trouble. And this is why my text here is in black. You see? So I need just a comma. And over here, I need a comma. So with the dict function here, we need to open a bracket, close a bracket. Then we start adding our items. Each item here is separated with a comma. So once you're done with the first row, you are separating it with the comma. Even though this is a list, we're not gonna enclose it into, as you can see here, there's a problem here. I just said it's a list. So where is the square brackets? We're not going to enclose it here as a square brackets here on each list. We're going to just start with this like that. In fact, you know what? It's good. I meant to do that. So first of all, you have the dictionary. As the definition implies, and let's add the definition here, in fact. As the definition implies, here a dictionary is an unordered collection of items defined by enclosing a comma-separated list. Yeah, so this is very important. So up to here. I'm just going to take the definition up to here. You know why? Because I'm not using the curly brackets here. So we're using the dict function. And then the definition says I need a list. So here's the list. So now I am ready to rock and roll. Now once I hit the enter key, already everything is fine. Now when I type here an is a string. So an is supposed to be in red because it's a string. And I'm going to give it value, you can give it number or you can give it, let me show you something. I'm going to give it here 1, which is an integer, and then a comma, a comma. Then I'm going to add Nora, for example. So here, Nora. And I'm going to give Nora here an A. Look what happens. A is in black. Why? Because it should be A like that. I just added the strings. Now let's add here, for example, Sarah. Let's add Sarah, and Sarah here has B, for example. Then this is it. Let's see what problems do we have. These objects, as you can see here, This takes integer, this takes A, this takes B. What happens if we add here C, for example, or keep the one in brackets? Would it work? Oh no, this is not the problem. What would be the problem here? On C, A, V. Here is the brackets. Oh, did we forget the comma? Have we just forgot the comma here to separate them from one another? Oh yes, we did. So now we can see what the problem is. Now there's one question that I would like for you to try. Can we add here integers, for example, and the strings together? Oh, seems like we could. Can we return the results in D? Yeah, let's do it. Oh, wow, that's great. So it wasn't really the problem of different nature. It is exactly like here, the list can come in different nature. Yeah, and over here is the same. This can come, different items can come in different nature. Oh, that's great. So this is the first list. What's the difference? Let me say. Okay. This list over here, can we define it differently? What do you mean, Nora? I'm telling you. Here's when you add Control Shift Enter here, you can't really add insert. I'm gonna see if I can have the list here is having n1. Let's see. It would return an error. Oh, why is that so? I can't have more than one item here in one argument. I can have this list n or un. Let's un. I can have un and I can have one. And this is list one. And it should be fine. What happened? You know what's the problem? Because we're not defining it. We have, yeah. So here, un1. Can I put un1 here? Yes, you can. Let's check. Maybe I can't. Well, technically you can. Let's see if there's any errors. No, there isn't any errors. Can I add the comma here and actually add Nora? And Nora is having a, for example, here. There's something is up here. What happened here? Now it's okay. Can I have it here done nicely? Let's see. Oh. Okay. If A is not okay, can I put just one? Or can I put, here's the problem here. And let's put here A. You see? You can forget one little, oh yes, we can do that. So this is a list here of multiple items. Oh wow, isn't that awesome? So you can have here the list of multiple items. Okay, in this case, when I have un1, Nora A here, how can I return un? Let's see, this is L0, for example. What is L0 here? L0 is the whole thing, un and 1. And what about L1? Let's see, L1 here will be the whole thing, Nora A. Oh wow, this is quite interesting. So what is the difference between this and this? Here is un, 1, Nora, A, Sarah, B, and look at the output. The output is in curly brackets, and this means that this is the key and this is the what do you call it, index or value? Value. This is the key and this is the value. Can I add more in here? For example, can I add something like 30%? Can I add here something like 40% and see if it works? It should work. Oh, there's some syntax problem. Why? Because we can't use this percentage. So if you want to use a percentage, you have to use 0.3. Isn't that awesome? And here, do you remember why? Because we have the percentage has a different action so here is all right. Can we do the same here? Yeah, sure. We should be able, right? Technically, we should be able. 0.3. And over here, let's add 0.25. And over here, let's add 0.15 and see how it works. Wow, what's up? What's up? What's going on? Dictionary updates sequence element 0 has length 3, 2 is required. What does that mean? This means, lovely people, is you have, as in here, as you can see in here, in the curly brackets, as you can see, you have what we call it a key and a value, a key and a value, a key and a value, just key and a value. Over here in the list, you can have whatever you want. For example, here you can have this. This is a list. This list has this, this. How can I explain this? This list is equivalent to this list. Let me show you what I meant. You see here, Sarah. Yeah. Do you see, guys, what I'm trying to tell you here? This is B. Okay. And 0.15. Do you see, lovely people? This list, do you see it? Do you see it? Here, the brackets, the square brackets, and then here, this is the list. It's exactly this one, isn't it? Anna, 1, 0.3. Nora, A, 0.25. Here's 40. Okay. So it's the same, isn't it? Here's 25, just to make sure that it's consistent. So this is actually is the same as this. This is the same exact thing as this, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So this is one list. Do you see it? It's one list. But the only difference is over here. Let me show you. This over here has, how could we fix that? This list is supposed to, how can I just give you to understand it? This list has this value here. One value here, two values only, two values only, two values only. This is the dictionary. Has this key or like a label and then the value, label and the value, label and the value. So, and it's list, you see? So in this case, is there a way around it? I'm afraid there isn't. Like if I want to add these two together, you see, I'm trying to say that these two together are one value and the last one is the value. So this is like, this is kind of like the key. The key is like this one. Did you see? You need to have like two values. One value here, one value here. One value here, one value here. One value here, one value here. Always. This is the difference between a dictionary and a list. So if you're asking yourself, what is really the difference between a list and a dictionary? I hope now you had grasped the difference between a dictionary and a list. Yeah, so this is a list. You see it? You can add even another argument. You can add here whatever argument you want, integer of whatever number, length, and all is going to be all right. Now over here, you need to have two. One is the, what we call it, a label or a key. The other is the value. Over here, it doesn't make sense that the whole thing here is the key and only this is the value. Usually you will have the name and the value like that is in pairs. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that you will always need to have two. One is the key, one is the value. So this is very important. You always have a key and the value, and the output will be enclosed in curly brackets, and you will have a colon over here. So I hope this has helped you understand the difference between a list and a dictionary. I think this is it for now. This is a checkpoint here on the slide. Okay. So if name Nora, L name, first name Nora, last name Sharkassi. This is also a very quick dictionary. You can add it this way. Not usually we use the dict, okay, function. All right. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about conditional statements in Python. So in this video, we talked about advanced data types, and in particular, we talked about two advanced data types. The first one was the list, and the second one was the dictionary. And I hope that I did a good job showing you the difference between what a dictionary is and what a list is. It's not about the order really per se, but it's all about the number of arguments that each one could take. And the output here is in curly brackets, while over here you use the square brackets for input. And the dictionary is nothing but a list here of items. All right. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.